Hey guys, Darren down at Supanova, Comic-Con and Gaming Expo in Perth. We're here with the wonderful John Levene. Hello, how are you?
Hello Darren, I'm very well, thank you.
Thanks for taking a few minutes to talk to us. We know that you're really busy today and we've only got a few minutes of your time, but you're a much loved character on Doctor Who. You're out in Perth and Sydney meeting the fans this weekend and last weekend. What's the experience been like for you?
To be honest with you, I've been overwhelmed by the absolute outpouring of emotional words from people that are a bit younger than me who fell in love with Benton as a character, ladies that wanted to marry me, which you never know about until they tell you. And to be honest with you, the warmth of Perth. Sydney is one thing, I mean it's big and it's a metropolis, but Perth, all of us were saying that the kindness and the softness and the relaxation we get here, it's a tough job.
Yeah, we're pretty cruisy.
Yes, you are. You cruise very nicely. So in answer to your question, it's been an absolute delight and I don't really want to go home.
Now, tell us how you got the role in Doctor Who, because you told me a little bit of the story out there, but how did it all come about?
Well, the actual way I got it is that once I'd met Telly Savalas, the movie star, in a menswear shop that I worked in, because remember, I thought I was going to be a menswear salesman for the rest of my life. And he came in, they were making The Dirty Dozen, the movie down at Pinewood. But it wasn't him. He's the one that planted the seed. But 3 weeks after he left, one of England's great comedians, who you won't know, his name was Joe Baker, he was an EastEnder.
Yep.
And he came in and I cracked a joke to him. And it was that one, I had an out-of-body experience last night. I was beside myself. And he thought it was really funny. So the next day, he said, you should be in show business. So we found a walk-on agency called Denton de Grey.
Yep. And
the star of EastEnders, whose name was Derek Martin, he's out of it now, and myself started right back in 1962. And we joined this agency, and I found that I was working for the very moment I got a job as a walk-on. I did over 100 BBC productions, and it was all to do because I love dressing smart. People of my age in England, we all dress smart. So what happened is I became a Yeti and a Cyberman, and unbeknown to me, and unbeknown to all of us people, the director and the executive producer were watching, and they watched it. I was the first there, the last one to leave, and I drank in all the things that were going on in the studio. I love looking through the camera lens. I love spotting where the lights were. So suddenly, the biggest director in the history of BBC, Douglas Camfield, whose book has just been released. If you love Doctor Who, it's called Directed by Douglas Camfield. The best book I've ever read on Doctor Who. So suddenly, I was made Sergeant Benton, and to this day, I cannot fathom it. With 480 other actors after the part, when you get it yourself, you can't quite believe it.
Well, it's fantastic, and obviously you've had quite the career. What, 50 years you've been in the industry for?
Yes, it's been 50 years now, yes.
When you look back over your career, what's the one highlight that you can think of?
Oh, Doctor Who and meeting John Pertwee. Apart from the royal family.
You're quick on that.
Well, John was like an angel in disguise.
Yeah.
I didn't believe in God for years and years, and I don't know whether it's God or Jesus up there, but I've come to the conclusion that there's a power force up there somehow, and if destiny is on your side, I mean, I had a sad childhood, so anything that was going to make me happy, I gravitated towards.
Yeah.
So all in all, I never believed my life would be so full of joy and happiness. And let's be honest, making 80 million people happy because of a part you played on television, you can't buy that kind of love.
No.
So
well, that's great.
The answer.
Well, last question just to wrap up. Now, you've recently left acting. You've started your own business called Genesis Communications.
Yes.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about what that is and what you do?
Well, very briefly, I don't have the company now. It was back about 10, 15 years ago, but when I left acting, and I won't tell you the reason why, because I can't, but I ended up being marvelous at putting images and music together. In other words, I was an audio-visual producer. So for 20 years, I won 5 gold awards against every country in the world for having the best music and the best images together. And now, very briefly, I've just been contacted by a director at DreamWorks, the people that make all the animated movies. Do you remember Rise of the Guardians?
Yeah.
It was the thing about Batuthiana, Jack Frost, and Sandman.
Yeah.
They asked me to visualize one of their animated characters, and a scientist inventor has created one of the images from Rise of the Guardians into a real person.
Oh, wow.
And they asked me to direct, produce, and conceive my visualization of it. So I've just spent a year and a quarter. I lost my health over it. When you direct, produce, and do everything, your health went down. But it turns out I've got one of the best movies I've ever made, and we're now waiting for that all-important phone call from Hollywood to say, yes, we want it, which means I get $1.8 million, take away $800,000 for tax, or I'm going to be 3,000 in the hole, because if they don't pick it up, I've wasted 3,000 of my own money. But a long story short, it was one of the greatest things I've ever done.
Yeah.
And now that Benton has become back again through Big Finish, you know, Big Finish did the audio files. I'm lucky I've just recorded one last November.
Oh, wow.
And I've already heard from people here that it's turned out to be a rave production, and I just happen to be in it. So my future is looking very, very rosy, given that it was looking bad for the last year. Now everybody wants my voice, everybody wants Benton back. So in answer to your question, Darren, I have never been this happy and this fulfilled, quite frankly.
We appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. I just want to say one last thing. Always be kind to older people. And I wish you the best of luck, and may your own particular God go with you. God bless. Take care.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Ta.
Much obliged.
So what is it you do?
I'm a driver.
He has a hum in the drum. Plays music to drown it out. And that's what makes him the best.
Your name's Baby. B-A-B-Y,
Baby. One more job and I'm done.
I'm not doing this without you.